Students, welcome back, and I hope you have read through the lesson The 100 Dresses and you have understood whatever has been discussed. We move further to this next poem in Unit 6, that is Animals, on page number 83. Initially, before we begin with the poem, let us understand about the poet, Mr. Walt Whitman. Born in 1819 and 1892, he passed away, is a major figure in early American poetry. He broke the tradition of rhymed and metrical poetry. If you observe this poem, you would understand that he doesn't have a rhyme scheme to this poem. He was famous for writing a revolutionary kind of poetry, which was in free verse which doesn't have rhyming words at the end of the sentences. The poem Animals is from his work Song of Myself in Leaves of Grass. This Song of Myself is a collection of 52 poems, and this animal is poem number 32 in the series, and he has written those 52 poems are really wonderful and worth reading. If you go on the net and search for Song of Myself, you would come across this poem. Now why should we read poems? Now, all those who are interested in writing poetry, have an inclination to write poetry, can actually go through these kind of poetries written by famous poets. You get an idea how to write a poem. So let's move further and see what the poem is about. Before I go to the next slide, I want you to open your textbook and read along with me the poetry. The poet tells us that he feels more at home with animals than humans when he finds complicated and whom he finds complicated and false. He finds the human beings more complicated and false. Let's see what the poem says. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. So we are going to underline the word placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relations to me and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their possessions. I wonder where they get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? So this is the poem, and let us move further and understand why does he feel so? Why does he feel very homely and comfortable with the animals? Right. So, sorry for the disturbance, children. Let's move further. Now let's see how the poem has been introduced. Let us understand the introduction of the poem. Walt Whitman has shown the comparison between human beings and animals in his poem. He has pointed out the evils present inside the human brain which he thinks animals don't have. That is why he thinks that animals are much better than human beings. Like if you have noticed the lines of the poem, he has said that, not one, they do not sweat and whine about their condition. They never, you go and see an animal, he will not be sitting in one corner and cribbing for the rain that is falling and he is not able to protect himself from that rain. No, either he will go out and get wet himself in the rain, or he will sit under a tree and protect himself and move out once the rain stops. Had this been the condition with a human being, the human being or the man or the woman might have stood there under the tree, going on cribbing and complaining about the unexpected rain, about not having an umbrella, about getting late to some place. So many list of complaints they would have had. But these people, they are simply careless enjoying their life, enjoying their bit, and understanding whatever is there is there. It can't be changed. So easy, but so difficult to follow. The poet also says that they do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. We humans, we commit sins, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly. But when we realize about that sin, we keep on, laying awake at night, thinking about it, thinking about a, situation which cannot be changed. It has happened. If you imagine about a dog, he'll not cry all night because he has bit someone. If he has bit someone accidentally or purposefully, he will not lie awake at the night and cry, oh my God, why have I bitten that particular man or a particular child? That doesn't happen with animals. Then, they do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. We all understand our duty towards God. But whatever we do, we keep discussing among us. That doesn't happen with the animals. So this is the introduction, and that is why he's compared humans and animals in every aspect, like whatever the humans do and the animals they don't do, though they are not as blessed as we all are. They are not blessed with the capacity to talk. They just can make certain sounds to communicate to us. Let's move further. Let's look at these first 3 lines. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid, calm and peaceful, and self-contained. They keep up control. They are happy with whatever they are. Happy lot. I stand and look at them long and long. He is so wonderstruck by the way the animals behave that he keeps looking at them long and long, because he feels they are so happy lot. They do not have any worries, absolutely worry free. We humans, even though we are intelligent, even though we are blessed with all the qualities that we have, but still somehow, most of the time, we are not self-contained, we are not placid, we are not calm and peaceful. So that is what he wants to express in the first 2 lines. The literary devices, as we say, used in these lines are use assonance, that is the use of vowel sound in I think, I live with animals. Okay, repetition, use of word long and long. When you have seen, when I use the word long once, it shows that it's just long. Okay, when I see long and long, that shows that that particular repetition emphasizes how long. He must have stood there watching the animals for a long time. Anaphora, I word used at the start of 2 consecutive lines. Okay, like I think, I could turn, I stand and look at them. So this is repeated. So let us move on to the next lines. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. As I discussed earlier also, they do not sweat and whine, cry. They do not cry about their condition. They live the way they want. They live happily when they are living with a rich, owner, and they are equally happy when they are living on the road, on the streets, like a stray dog or a stray animal roaming around the streets. Why only dog? Any animal. Okay, any bird that is flying around is more happy than the bird which is there inside the cage, but they don't express. They are quite happy. The bird inside the cage also listens to its masters, eats whatever is given, and remains happy inside the cage. The bird which is flying outside is also happy because of its freedom. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not. Like the moment they are lying down, they go to sleep. They do not weep for their sins, because we humans need to understand, once a sin is committed, all that we can do is, we cannot redo it. No, we cannot, there is no refresh or undo button in life. So we just have to understand that the sin has been committed, either knowingly or unknowingly. We should move further and understand that henceforth we should not do this, neither knowingly nor unknowingly, instead of weeping. And we should try to correct our behavior and not correct the action that was done. Action once done cannot be undone. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. We go to the temples, we go to the churches, we go to the Gurudwara, we go to the mosque, but we keep discussing, oh no, if I do this, God will get angry. If I don't do this, God will get angry. If I do this, God will be happy. All these do's and don'ts for God, they don't discuss with each other. They just are the happy-go-lucky kind of things that live their life. They eat if they get to eat. Don't eat if they don't get to eat. Okay, they just don't cry about things which are out of their control. But we human beings simply try to control everything, and the problem lies there. Most of our problems can be solved if we understand that certain things are out of our control. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented, mad or disturbed about things. Okay, we don't try to understand. The moment we don't get something or we are unable to achieve something, we get dissatisfied, we get mad, we get disturbed, and we simply want it by hook or crook. But this doesn't happen with animals. If it runs behind a bone and it is not able to get, the dog simply moves away. The goat tries to reach out to the leaves of the plant. If it is not able to eat, it just moves away and looks for another plant, not standing there crying, complaining, or hitting at the tree because it is not able to reach the leaves. So we humans should learn from these animals that we should learn to give up, give away, and give space to everything. We should learn to wait, we should learn to be patient, we should learn to be happy with whatever we have. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented. The mania of owning things, okay, they are not maniacs. We want to own things. If we have a refrigerator of 250 liters, we want a refrigerator of 500 liters. Our wants never end. If we have a house of 4 rooms, we want a house of 8 rooms. It's not wrong to want something, but it's wrong to become a maniac and to madly run behind it, foregoing the current happiness, the happiness that is there in our present situation. Because if we keep running after things, we will never be able to enjoy what we have. And that is why the poet somehow is in love with these animals. He feels they are so good. They don't have the worry. They don't have to own a small house or a big house. They don't have to own. They're happy. They are happy if they are kept in a house or a pet house by the owner. They are equally happy to move around freely in the streets like stray animals. So they are not complaining. Sweat here, it means the mania of owning things. So this is what they don't complain. Why? Sins, wrongdoing, whine, cry, demented, mad, or disturbed. Let's move further. The literary devices used in these 4 lines are anaphora, use of repeated words at the beginning of 2 or more consecutive lines, use of they do not, metaphor. Okay, so nowadays metaphor is called as metaphor. Metaphor, sweat and whine refer to the cries and complaints of human beings. Okay, here sweat is not the actual sweat which comes when you feel hot. It is about the complaints that the human beings make when they are not able to achieve something or when they are not able to own a thing which they wish to own. Now, children, with this I really end this poem. We will discuss the further lines of the poem in our next video, that is day after tomorrow. Secondly, I also wanted to understand whether you all have purchased the book Words and Expressions. There is a workbook named Words and Expressions which you had last year in class 9. This year also CBSE is continuing with the textbook for class 10. So if you have purchased, whenever you mail me the assignment of this poem Animals, you will just send one single line, write a single line, yes, I have purchased the book Words and Expressions, so that I can plan for some assignments from that book. So do not forget to send me the confirmation because we'll be completing this poem by Saturday, and then you can mail me your answers to the textual questions. There are hardly 3 textual questions for this poem. You can mail me the answers for the questions on Tuesday, and on Tuesday along with that mail you also will write a line of confirmation that whether you have purchased the workbook Words and Expressions or not. Thank you children. Stay home, stay safe, have a nice and wonderful day. Thank you.